Hello folks, welcome to this video, and F1 2020 is scheduled to get its proper release tomorrow. Thanks to getting the Schumacher Deluxe Edition, I've been playing it for a couple of days now, with us getting 3 days early access for purchasing said edition. And I want to leave a few of my thoughts about the game itself, so that people who are looking to buy it could get a couple of impressions, and you'll see some of the gameplay that I've got in the background of this video. But firstly, I want to make a distinction that there are a few new things, and this was developed by a different team to F1 2019. Codemasters essentially had two different teams working at the same time. One was working on 2019, one was working on 2020. As a result, 2020 brings in a slightly different kind of physics engine. It brings in a new way of thinking about things like ERS, where you essentially have it automatically controlled, apart from for an overtake button, which you activate yourself. Though you can also change the mode for that. You can also have more customization in terms of assistance, in terms of actual overall handling model. But I haven't got much experience of that personally as of yet. But at the same time, the big thing is probably the introduction of my team. That's the thing that everyone's talking about. That's the thing that a lot of YouTubers, myself included, are doing series in. And I've got to tell you what, that is a really enjoyable kind of experience. For me, it's more the fact that we've got 22 cars on the grid, which for me feels more like F1. But at the same time, I just really enjoy what it's like. It's quite a fun game. And in terms of the handling, you can feel a bit of an improvement. The cars don't feel as easy to snap in terms of oversteer. And the controls, they feel a lot more kind of predictable. Like, when you're going to understeer, you can feel that the car's going to understeer. When you're going to oversteer, you can feel that the car's about to let go. That was due to improvements to the handling model made because F1 drivers have been playing more of the game and they went, hang on, my F1 car doesn't feel like this. My F1 car doesn't feel like that either. Yeah, that's kind of a welcome change. I haven't tried out the F2 cars to see if there's any noticeable difference in the handling game on game, but in terms of the F1 cars, they definitely feel different compared to the 2019 game. A couple of the cons, however, are first to do with like the audio mastering. So I've found in particular through replays that the audio for the cars is much lower in the mix than, say, the audience or spectator volume, which I found quite odd. I mean, I've got the master turned down on it because I typically do for the F1 games due to the way that OBS works, but the spectator noise was never really so high in the mix. But again, that's something I can fix myself, but it was something odd for me to kind of recognise. The other thing was ghosts in the replay camera. Now, I don't remember this being a particular problem with previous installments, but usually I use time trial in the background, and as you've probably seen by the ones where I've used F1 2020 gameplay, there have been couple of instances where the ghosts just randomly show up. But all in all, I have to say I do quite recommend the game. I've done a race on 80 difficulty for my team career mode, which I thought was going to be a bit high, but ended up being a bit low for my standards, and I ended up winning the race. And then I did one just a bit before doing this video with the Red Bull Ring, a 5-lap race in the Red Bull at 90, and that felt a lot more kind of competitive. I felt I was off the pace, but at the same time the AI felt a lot more matched in terms of my ability. They felt a lot more kind of close to where I was. But again, I haven't been able to get so much of an impression out of all of the settings. So all I can say right now is if you haven't got 2019, I could recommend 2020. Not sure if I'd recommend, say, the Schumacher Edition, unless you were a die-hard F1 fan. But I could recommend F1 2020 itself. If you've got 2019, it's very much a kind of toss-up. Like, how much fun do you get out of 2019? How much of enjoyment are you going to get from new stuff in 2020? But I don't see myself in a scenario where I'd say, don't buy this game unless you've not bought it for a few years. Like I found myself in with something like 2019, where I was like, if you already have 2018, you probably don't need 2019. Or, for example, in regards to other recurring motorsport franchises like WRC, where I was like, if you've got WRC 7, you probably don't need to get WRC 8. yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.
Spinner.